Hello everyone. We're going to look at reading prompts from a database. How do the prompts get into the database? Well, we're going to put them in there. So what you can see here is my test of my code. I've put in 3 prompts into an SQL database, and then I'm using a menu system which comes with Inquirer, which is a module which you can install for Python. It works slightly differently in my terminal here to what it does in my terminal in VS Code, but I'm not going to lose sleep over that. Whatever I type here gets inserted here, and then the value, so whatever I type here gets inserted. What do you call a monkey with a banana in each ear? A banana head. Yeah, that's... hang on, I might have to pause and stop laughing. Let's look at the code. So let's bring up VS Code. Here we go. That is the SQLite database with the prompts stored in it. I'll show you how to do that in a minute with the code. I've just got the ID which gets auto-generated, and then within a field in SQLite I'm actually storing JSON or Python dictionary, hash map, call it whatever you want. So in main, now before I show you that, I'll show you the inquirer module. So it's just pip install. Let me just zoom in a bit on that, make it bigger. So import reg.re, that's just to pass out the phone number. You don't need to do that if you don't want. So what it's doing, this is just asking for some details, and then it presents them in this format, which I'll show you. Underscore even. What's your name? Bob. What's your surname? Smith. What's your phone number? There you go. And then I'm just showing here you've got kind of a text input, and you've got checkboxes which are called, so you've got inquirer.checkbox, inquirer.text, I think you've also got inquirer.list and a few others. But so let's go for computers. Here I'm just pressing the right arrow key and then the down arrow key, and then I pressed enter, and it's built me a dictionary where the key is interests, which is there. The values are computer and nature, so it's just picked the values from this list or this array. Prompts we've looked at, the inquirer we've looked at, so let's go to the main code. So what I've done, it started off actually not needing LangChain really. I have incorporated LangChain mainly for the prompts, but to be honest you could save prompts for OpenAI ChatGPT and also do this method. These imports, that number 3, I was trying to get the streaming to work, but I haven't been successful thus far. Sometimes you think, how important is it versus how much time am I going to be spending on it? So yeah, that fell by the wayside. The top 2 lines are actually files which I've written. So if I show you, I've written helper, which was just to check if the database exists and if a table exists. Should have just put that into a test straight away really. But then we've got factorial, which was just me testing out the code that was produced from. So I've got these 3 prompts. I'm entering these the first time the code runs. So the first time the code ever runs, I'm reading these three dictionaries out of the list, and they are being inserted into the prompts database. So if we go back to helper, what I'm doing is I'm checking if the table exists and so on. Then with I'm inserting the prompts. So for each prompt, I'm fetching everything. I'm inserting the prompts from the JSON into the values there. Then when the code runs, that's when I'm fetching the prompts back out, and I'm fetching the prompts here. well, line 40, you see. And that is actually what's then being passed back to my main code here. So on line 53, then I've got all of my prompts, and I'm passing all of my prompts, and that's when they are being shown to the user with the inquirer, and this is where they're actually being run. So depending on so I've got a function here which iterates through the JSON, and for each of the lots of parentheses, it's then using those down. So update prompt, selected prompt, it's then using those down here. So I'm actually picking out the dictionary key and the dictionary value, where the value is actually being put into here, and then it's reading that value which then becomes part of the prompt. I know it sounds complicated, but let's just run it again from here. It actually runs better from this terminal. I don't know why. Anyway, it runs much nicer here, because if you noticed, when I ran it in terminal, Python main.py, when I run it in terminal, it actually it keeps, every time I go back up to option 1, it keeps appending it to the terminal, you see. So now it keeps filling up the screen, whereas in this terminal it doesn't. Obviously both on the same OS, Linux. I don't know what the reason for that is. It's probably something to do with the standard out buffer, I don't know. But here we go. So let me tell me a joke too, because I know that works. Tell me a sad joke about a kangaroo. Why was kangaroo sad? Because she had to hop away from all her friends. Wow. Is moon a palindrome? So yeah, there you see, it's given us the function, but it hasn't actually run the function on our supplied arguments, so that needs a little bit of fine tuning. And let's just run it one more time. Write a Python function to calculate factorial of a number, enter value for number 5. And what it does, it supplies the code actually to run, but it doesn't actually run it. It would be nice if it ran it as well. But let's run that. And we get 120, which is correct. But it's just, I don't know if that's my fault that it didn't run. I think it is. What I would have done normally would have been used the math chain, or even not the PAL chain, but yeah, I would have used the math tool. So anyway, there we go. That is me using a database to store prompts. The prompts are stored in JSON format so that I can extract the values, which I can then use inside the placeholders, which then builds me the actual prompts that I need. And I'm using inquirer, so if you want to do, I think it's pip install inquirer. So if you haven't got that installed, you will need to do pip install, and you will also need to do, I've got a deprecation warning, but yeah, it works. So there we go. That's an overview of how I store my prompts in a database, and then I read them back into my program. Obviously I've been using inquirer, but you could actually use Streamlit, create your own front end, run from command line as normal, run from Jupyter Notebook, etc. So if you want the code, I'll put the code in GitHub. I'll put a code in the description, and you will be able to access it on GitHub should you desire. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe and all that.